Because this is, I saw this quote on, I think, LinkedIn, but the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. That's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. And I think now, hopefully you can see how that's true. That if you can keep an eye in the future, or at least know the direction, then you can make those decisions to move that way. Or you just stay back in the other loop of past and present. So I really think anything is possible, and there is a ton of destiny out there. But it's only when you decide to take action to move towards it. Everything's a decision we make. It's we're either moving towards our journey or decide to stay still, which is a decision, right? To decide to not do anything is a decision. And I think it's one of the things that's killed America, or a lot of people. They have this belief that, oh, I won't do anything. Well, not doing anything is doing something. It's a decision you make not to take a step either forward or back, right? There is no status quo. If you decide to stop, the world's not going to stop with you. So when people need to stop something, the whole world doesn't say, okay, we'll stop and wait for you. So I think people need to get that part and know. And there's times, like we talked about last time, that happens. There's times where I know that, for the next however many weeks that class is that I'm in, I know that I'm in this class for this period of time. And no matter what I want to do, I still got to go through that. Right? So it's to become a physical therapist. It wasn't like, hey, you know what, I've decided that I want to be a physical therapist, so I'm a physical therapist. It was, okay, that's 7 years of school at a minimum. And that isn't all fun, but it's what the price you got to pay to get to where you want to be. So there's times of that where you might feel like I'm stuck in one spot. But it's really not stuck because you're working on the plan. So that's why I think back to accountability partners, that's another important part too, is understanding that there's times where you have to be reminded that even though you don't feel like you're moving forward, other people know you're moving forward, right? So if you have something happen and you know, okay, this is going to be a period of time that I have to deal with it, I have to go to school, I have to do with it, whatever. I'm still moving towards where I want to be, but it isn't going to feel like it when you're in the middle of it. Believe me. All the times I was in school, it seems like every time I was like, man, when is this going to be over? I think it's funny because like your kids, right? You guys all have kids, so it's like after this break, well, they're in that long, they just came out of a long stretch, right, where there wasn't a lot of holidays from like going back. So you got all that time off at Christmas, then you go back, and there's no real time off till like March, and this year is April, before spring break rolls around. I just want school to be over. Like, I hate this. It's miserable. But it's one of those things that you go through in life to get where you need to get to. And at the end of it, when summer rolls around again, it's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. And then that's my theory of relativity, right? Then summer goes like that because it's like, what happened? I spent 9 months waiting to get to summertime and it's gone.
It's like getting up at 4, 4:45. I mean, that's early.
Yeah.
That's really early, but
yeah, it's the sacrifices. But the more you do it,
it's become routine now.
Right.
It's like, and I feel like that's the price I'm paying, and that's a really small price to pay
and
for how good I feel.
Right.
I mean, I really feel.
And you guys are going to see this too with the weights and stuff, because this program, realize, isn't designed to be like a quick. There are tricks we could do that would get you to drop a lot of weight quick, but you've all tried them before. Yeah, I'm holding out on you. I'm holding on on you. But you guys have tried them all before, right? And they don't work because exactly what I said earlier. If I could just get this, or I was telling you an example of my friends, like, oh, I just need to lose like 20 pounds, then I'll go back to doing everything I want to do. Well, that's not the way to go, right? How about modifying what's going on as you do, and then add those things back in, but maybe not as much, or, I mean, at the end of the day, this has to be about real life. And you can become the fanatic, right, that just does one set thing, but that comes with a sacrifice.